happy to welcome to our program Father Stephen Gemme. My first question, Father Stephen, where were you born?
I was born in Fitchburg, Massachusetts, which is a little place, a little north of the city of Worcester. And I grew up in a little town called Westminster.
Okay. And what was your home parish?
St. Edward the Confessor.
All right. Did you have any first memories of being at that parish as a young child, or first communion, or whatever?
I do. I grew up in a family that was very active in the parish. So my mom and dad, Sunday Mass was a must. It was part of the culture. You get up, you have breakfast, you go to Mass. So, being involved in the religious ed program, being involved in being an altar server. And then our pastor at the time, Father Ted Carter, said, why don't you think about being a lector? So I started off being a lector, and I remember, it's kind of funny, we're on TV, right? So it's kind of funny being up in front of a big crowd of people, and you have to get up there and they stand up straight and do all those things. But it was a wonderful preparation for what God was ultimately going to call me to.
And after, where would you go to high school?
Oakmont Regional High School.
Okay. And is that in the area up there?
Yeah, it's Westminster, Ashburnham area.
Right.
Yeah.
And then after high school, where did you go?
Fitchburg State College.
What was your major?
I majored in history with a minor in secondary education, and I became a high school teacher.
Where did you teach?
I taught at St. Peter Marian, which is the high school here in the city of Worcester.
All right. What was that like?
Oh, it was phenomenal. Really, being a teacher in the Catholic school system greatly helped my vocation. And one of the real blessings was the fact that they had Mass every day at the time. So I was able to go to Mass, and the priest at the time was Father John Roy. And I think he kind of thought maybe this guy was going to be a priest, because he'd say, hey, can you help me read? Can you help set up? Can you help whatever? So I was always like the sacristan/lector every day for the Mass for the faculty. And going to Mass daily greatly helped my vocation.
Mm-hmm. And at what point did you start thinking about the priesthood?
Probably late middle school, probably high school was the first time in those early days, Just kind of getting a hint of it, like a sense of it, Then
it must have increased again at some point where it was so intense you say, gee, I think I need to speak to the vocation director.
It did when I was teaching, actually, at St. Peter Marian, because I was involved in, all the activities. I did living stations of the cross and retreats and everything. And I really felt this strong call. So as you say, I had to respond.
Mm-hmm. And what was it like for your students, the faculty, the staff, to eventually, when they learned that I'm leaving, I'm going to seminary, did they support you? What sort of?
I was overwhelmed by the amount of support I received from St. Peter Marian. I remember at the time I had told my classes, and they applauded, and the faculty. And Father Dennis O'Brien, who's a priest of the diocese, actually was giving a retreat day for the faculty. And at the end of the retreat day, he said to me, hey, why don't you tell them? And I said, I don't know. He says, no, why don't you tell them? So I stood up, and I was kind of like, well, I'm going to be leaving at the end of the year. I'm going off to the seminary to become a priest. And the response was just tremendous, very positive.
How about the response from home or from family and friends? Were they supportive of your decision?
Yeah, my mom and dad were great. They're my role models in so many ways for the faith. My mom and dad bringing us up Catholic, and just being just down-to-earth good folks. And I think it really probably surprised my siblings more. I have two sisters and a brother, but they warmed to the idea, And I have found a great deal of support from my family, yeah.
That's so important.
Yeah, definitely.
And now time for seminary.
Oh, gosh.
Where did you go?
I was really privileged because I was able to go to what I believe is the finest seminary in the United States, which is St. Mary's in Baltimore. It's the first seminary. And what a wonderful 5 years I was there. I had to do a year of what's called pre-theology and then 4 years of theology. But, Baltimore is where Catholicism began in the United States. So it was a really great time just to be there. And you're so close to Washington, D.C., and, the outreach, the pastoral work. The priests of the Society of Saint-Sulpice have a very strong program. And especially the pastoral aspects of it, you can't beat it. And I'm a big fan.
How about the pastoral assignments that you had that sort of were off campus,
Sure.
Pastoral outreach assignments, or even your parishes when you were in Maryland? What were those like?
I had great experiences. I was involved with a program called Food for Thought, where we would work with kids after school for basic reading and math. I worked with a program called Loaves and Fishes, where we'd actually go into inner city Baltimore and distribute food on a Saturday night. And then I got to the point where we were bringing blankets and coffee, and what a privilege. And then Old St. Paul Shelter, which was a shelter for fellas who were in transition, I guess you'd say. A wonderful place called Mother Seton Academy, similar to our school we have up here in the city, where all the kids are on scholarship. It was a 6th, 7th, and 8th grade at middle school, boys and girls. And I was able to teach there, when I was in the seminary. And I had a couple parish assignments too, Immaculate Heart of Mary and St. Dominic's, which were great city parishes, so there was a lot of activity. But you can't beat the pastoral experiences. It was fantastic.
And when you returned to the diocese for ordination, what year was that?
2002.
Okay. And what was that day like? And also your first Mass, if you have any memories you'd like to share about that.
It was extremely overwhelming, humbling, exciting. It was almost like a blur because so many people coming up to you saying, "Hey, Father, how you doing?" And you're kind of like, "Oh." But it was fantastic. And what a celebration. The whole diocese, the cathedral full and people. And my first Mass was very humbling because I forgot everything. I forgot everything of what to do. And I have a priest friend, him, Father Tim Nolan, who had come up. So I remember standing at the kitchen table in my parents' house trying to get your hands straight, looking at the book, what do you do?
The morning of your...
Right, the morning of the first Mass, trying to get the whole thing together like, oh. But it worked out, because God is good.
What I had to do was I had yellow Post-it notes on all the pages in the sacramentary with little stick figures drawn like this and like this, and to remind me. And we're supposed to look very calm and cool up there, but inside we're hoping, this will be a valid Mass. That's all we're hoping for. In case anybody's wondering what goes through our heads at our first Mass, it can be a lot of anxiety to just have a valid Mass.
Yes.
Your first assignment after that, where did you go for your
first? I had a wonderful first assignment at St. Joan of Arc here in the city with Father Jose Rodriguez.
Were you there also as a summer assignment at any point?
I was not, no.
Could you run through your summer assignment
Sure.
real quick?
I went to Our Lady Immaculate in Athol. I had an interesting assignment the second year, which was I was at Our Lady of Loretto, but I also worked at the Chancery for a summer in the archive. Mm-hmm. My third summer was at St. Bernard's Parish here in the city on Lincoln Street. And then the fourth summer as a deacon, I was at Mighty St. Mary's in Milford, the largest parish of the diocese. Right. So.
All right, now back to St. Joan of Arc, first assignment.
Yes, and what a great place. I learned how to say Mass in Spanish, a lot of outreach, a lot of practical priesthood, I guess you'd call it, Lincoln Street, in the city. But I also had a great pastor in Father Rodriguez and a good friend, as you know, and a lot of fun. The people of St. Joan of Arc, just very loving and supportive. It's great. It's a great privilege to be a priest, and I love being a priest, as probably everybody can tell.
Yeah. What was next after St. Joan of Arc?
I became the pastor of St. Bernadette's in Northborough, which is my current assignment.
Now, how does that happen? Is it a phone call, a letter, and...
It was pretty amazing. I got a call from the bishop's secretary, Father Rocco, and he said, "Could you please come and see Bishop Riley?" And I said, "Well, what is it?" He says, "Oh, I can't tell you. It's going to be fine." I came in.
We've only got about 10 more seconds. So.
Okay. I got called in. I was presented the assignment. I said yes, and I went. And it's been unbelievable. It's the largest school in the diocese, large parish, excitement, good stuff.
Beautiful. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry we had to rush through that so quickly, but our time is up.